Hello, Casey. My name's Perry, and I work in support here at vWork. And this is just a brief demo on vWork and the recording of information, setting up your jobs or job forms, and the templates where those job forms are based off of, and then how that interacts with the mobile worker or drivers, or your people out in the field. So I'll just first off run through what you're seeing on your screen. In front of you here we have the schedule screen. So this is primarily designed for dispatching work. We have my workers here on the left. These could be workers or drivers, or you could potentially rename these as vehicles, as some of our customers do. And then on the far left here we have the all of the jobs which are either assigned or work yet to be done, or that needs assigning, or potentially things that are in progress or paused. So what you're seeing here is a visual representation of the work of some of these workers, and then on the far right we have the mobile phone. So this is just a screen. This is just an iPhone running our iOS app, and as a worker this is what you see. So you can see today, Friday the 15th of February, I have 4 jobs here, and I can just tap into one of them as the worker, and I can see that this is a standard delivery job, and it has 3 steps on the job: pick up, drop off, and bill the job. And well, I'll just jump back into there. And also the fields on this one, we have some sort of counts and photos, customer signature, contract to view. Like, so this particular job has a contract signature, and then I can just jump back to my jobs. So what I'll run you through first is just creating a basic job based off of some of the templates I have. So I have multiple templates set up, and I'll run you through this next. But so I'm just going to choose a 15-minute drop template. So this is sort of like a courier would have. This template is already set up, so if I scroll down, I can see that it has 2 steps on this job. So these are the steps that need to be completed for the job to be completed. No one is assigned to the job, it's unassigned. And then the job fields on this job, we have a variety of things. So, a web link, checkboxes, pick lists. So these are all set up with scopers. We have signatures. You can see these fields are red because they're mandatory, so these need to be completed before the job can be completed. And this particular job here has 4 images on, so we're just wanting to take some photos. Also, this job has health and safety, so this one has a few health and safety things. So the worker has to identify the hazards. He could potentially add health and safety hazards, something like things to watch out for, just for sort of health and safety compliance. So I know this job is for John Smith, so I'm just going to search my customer database, and all of his details pop in, and that's all I'm going to do for this one. So I'm just going to create an unassigned job. So I'll just tap and create that, and if I scroll up, I have my list sorted by unassigned. So I can see the job here that I've just created by John Smith, and I'm just going to go drag that over to an empty space on Joe Blog's schedule today. So, and you can see the job turns orange, which means it's unpublished. So at the moment it's just after 8 a.m. and this job is for 12:30. So as soon as I hit publish on that, and so I could be adding jobs to many different workers. All of these unassigned jobs, they need to go to somebody. So I could just be dragging them around as a dispatcher. And so when I'm ready to publish that, I'll just hit the publish all button. And Joe should get a notification on his phone over here on the right. We'll just wait for that to come through. What we do is we send a push notification to the phone, so there's no manual sync or anything, it just automatically gets it. So you can see that, yes, Joe has got the job. So then I'll just drop down here. Here's the job, 15 minutes. Now I have accept and decline on, so I'm just going to accept the job as Joe. So yes, I want to take that work. And then what we do is we see on the left, we see the job turn blue as it's been assigned. Now, this one is a really basic one, so it just has a pickup step. Obviously, I need to accept all the health and safety. And yeah, so that's all accepted there. And so you can see that now the job is green here on the left, and it's started. And so if I click on it, you can see the status here. It's half done because it's got 2 steps on it. So I'm just going to fill out some of the fields. So the scoper is Steve. I'm just going to do a customer signature and sign that away. And this one is a multiple pick list, so I'm just going to choose a couple of values on this one. And just take a photo because we need a photo, and take one of my coffee cup. And I'm going to just jump back to the steps. Also, if I wanted to add some notes, just add those to the job. Well, we could check the health and safety. This one obviously doesn't have an invoice. I could jump back to the details. We also have proof of delivery, so you can see that. So I could sign here. So we have 2 areas where you can sign. I could also send reports. I could email a status report, which will include all of the information from the job. I can jump in and look at the customer details if I need to. But right now I'm just going to see I haven't completed the job. You can still see it's green on the screen. So I'm just going to jump into it and complete that. Yeah, I have to accept the health and safety. So that's all completed. And you can see now the job has turned grey. And so if I jump into that job here in the schedule screen and load this up, we can see on the steps that we've recorded all of the GPS locations and the times where the steps were completed. So all of these test steps are all recorded. We've obviously got the proof of delivery signature. All of those fields that I filled in on the job, they're all now filled in. So we've got the signature, the multiple pick lists, the picture of the coffee cup. And so this job, I could quite happily download a status report for this. I don't want to see this hazards potentially. So then we can report on this, or you could have this automatically sent to the customer. And so there's all the information. So that's the basics of sort of assigning the jobs. Now all of these jobs and schedules, they're all based off of templates. So you can create these job templates in vWork. So I'm just going to jump into settings here, into my templates. And we can have a look at, say, a standard delivery template that I've set up. So the templates, they are what you base your jobs off of. And so potentially if you had repeating jobs, so if you had a regular maintenance job that needed to happen, every other day or perhaps every Monday, you would set up your template to have all of the details. And so you could add the customer. So if this job was always going to be for customer X, then you would add them in here. You can select assets with our enterprise feature. So these are things like locations or equipment. We have a lot of extra steps if you have all of the advanced features turned on, like capacity, time windows. But a simple job, you have steps, and so these can have locations. So I could, if this job is always going to be at location X, then I would add it in here. But in this case, I'm just going to make sure that when the job is created off the template, it's going to be for a different location every time. So I'll just have the person create that every time. And I could assign this to multiple workers or to one worker every time in the template. But because this is a template, we want to be able to vary that every time we create it. So I'll just leave that. And then all of the information that you want to collect on the job, this is where you add it here. So, for example, this one has a pick list of price zones, and these are all set up. You could have a free text field for instructions, order numbers, the different like, so this is the contract. So we could have a contract where the customer has to view it, and then they have to sign with the customer, and we could set this as required. So that means with a required field, they cannot complete the job without filling out the information. And then I could potentially add another custom field, using, say, the date and time information. And I could say, time for quote or something similar. And then you can just put as much information that you need to in these jobs. And then you can also potentially add a section as well. So you could have different sections on different jobs. So I'll show you a really complex job that's running with sections and conditions that open up. So this one here, we've got playground items. So whichever one you select, so if you select sandpits, then it'll show the section of sandpits. So if we scroll down here, we've got all of these different sections, and it'll scroll down and it'll show you the sandpit section. So that means you need to fill out all of these items here. And then inside the sandpit section, if this is closed, then you're going to show another section. So you can get really complex and really or just really simple with your job. So collecting information, and then all of this is recorded obviously in the system, can be reported on with CSV reports, scheduled reports that fire out every day or every month, at the end of the month. And also you could have them automate and fire out a report as soon as the job is completed or as soon as a step is completed on it. So very flexible with that kind of thing. Now just jumping into the jobs page, which is basically your database of all of the work that's currently on and currently completed. So the jobs page is where you see all of your work. And so this is the job I just completed before, and you can see it was all completed. And I could potentially filter this by all of my work by Joe. So I'll just choose Joe. And then I could also say I only want to see things from the service job template. And so this is really powerful, and you can see that these are all cancelled and completed jobs. So there's not many from that. So and then I could quickly view on the schedule if I wanted to, and just jump into that job. So vWork is a really good dispatching and figuring out, like, are there gaps in some of the workers' schedules, or can I get them to fill that? Obviously, you can drag and drop. I could jump to tomorrow, and I can scroll in, scroll out, obviously jump to a certain date, jump to the 12th of February. And you can also filter and search all of your jobs here as well. So I'm just going to jump back to today. Just touch on a few other brief things. So like the customer database. So this is just a standard customer. You can set their address, all of their billing details. You'll see their previous invoices, previous recent jobs, equipment that the customer has. Some people also like to get a good overview of where their workers are and how things are going by the map. So we have people that want to assign stuff by the map. So I'm just going to search for Joe. Just going to pull out. And you can see all of the jobs we've got going on. So this really helps the dispatcher know that, I want to give Joe this work here that's available because he's close by. So I can just assign that to him. So if I were to click onto this job here, I could easily assign that to Joe on the map screen. Also looking at activity, if I wanted to see pending jobs and started jobs, you've got lots of options for filtering and showing what kind of work you've got on. And then potentially, if I'm looking at Joe as well, and I want to potentially see job arrows, so I want to see where Joe is going. This is a bit crazy, but with the amount of work that Joe has on, these are pretty much the directions that he's going to go. So if I want to know, oh, he's going north, I can assign him some work up here as well. So we've got the map thing there. You've obviously seen the schedule, our reports. Obviously, this is where you set up your schedule reports and report on the work that you're doing. So then you can, I could do a CSV export or a custom report, filter by date range, filter by groups, filter by workers, templates, filter by job status. So it can get really powerful. And then, for example, this is a report of the job I did just earlier. And you could, this is a friendly sort of PDF style report with the signatures and everything. But you could just have this as a CSV format with just the information, just the raw information, if that is what you're after. We do obviously have in-app messaging. So, you can use messaging inside the app. And then lots of different settings as well. Units, reasons for declining jobs, multi-assigning if you wanted to assign jobs to multiple workers, and that means the first job that gets it, the first job worker that accepts it gets the job. Customers can postpone jobs, reasons for cancelling jobs. You can control when the jobs are published, so you could say, I want the jobs to show on the phone only 60 minutes before they start. So that's quite a powerful feature. Shift on and off, repeating jobs. So if we look at some of the options for repeating jobs, I jump in here. You've got lots of different scenarios. You say, add a repeating job based off this template. This is the frequency I'm going to use. You could tweak some details on the job. And then just set that running, and that'll just repeat and generate. And so I could have this job for a particular worker every single time, or you could just have this generate as an unassigned job and have your dispatchers assign it out. We also have some powerful features. These are in our enterprise plan. So things like route optimization. So you could select a bunch of jobs with a polygon. So what have we got here? So you're basically using a polygon to sort of geofence. I want all of these jobs here, and I want to add them. I don't actually have any jobs in this group, but yeah. So what you're doing is you're grabbing all the jobs, choosing your workers, and then optimizing them for a certain time range. And so if we have a look at some of my old optimizations that I've done, I'm going to set the date range. Some of these old optimizations. This one is over 4 workers or 2 workers, and basically you can see it just picks out the best route. So these are some of the old jobs, like they've got time windows and things, and it just works out the best route for the worker. So these are all the customers, and then you can just publish them all to those workers, and they'll get the best route and the most, use the least amount of fuel and the least amount of time. That's an enterprise feature. We also have repeating jobs beta, which is our sort of new repeating jobs. This is a lot more powerful. It just enables you to set one schedule and then apply many assets to that schedule. So then you're only having one schedule, but they're generating multiple jobs with different information based on that schedule. So it can be really powerful. So for example, we have some customers where they might have, I'll just get an example that looks a little bit better. These are all finished. I'll just jump to, so if I have it finished in April, you can see the actual dates come through. So it gives you an idea of the schedule, and then I can just keep adding an asset. So one kind of asset here, and I could select a worker, and then so these assets are just locations. So this is very, very powerful for doing repeating work at different locations on different schedules. For example, having to mow a lawn. In the winter, obviously the grass grows quicker, and in the summer the lawn needs to be mowed less, and you can just set it and forget it with these kind of jobs. So very powerful. Just going to leave that because I didn't save it. And yeah, so back to the schedule. So basically, recording the information is set in your templates in vWork. We have videos on all of this as well on our YouTube channel. And yeah, so really easy to dispatch and see what work is on for what workers. As I say, the worker has a really nice interface on their job fields and taking signatures and just working through. If we look at some of this worker's jobs with a lot of, so for example, this one here has a lot of required fields. You can see that you need to add the information, and then so yeah, quite easy for the worker to sort of add their stuff, and then it updates in real time in vWork. I guess that's pretty much the basics. So we've run through scheduling, the map, repeating jobs, reports. We also have an alerting system, which is you can fire off emails and SMS based on triggers in the job. These are the assets actually. Alerts. And all of this information, if you want more details, you can just jump into help.vworkapp.com. We have videos and YouTube videos and details on alerts. So an alert, just for a really quick example, might be when a job is created based on these filters, send an email notification to this person with this information here, and attach a report. So very powerful. That's about everything. As I say, help.vworkapp.com is where you can find all of our videos and walkthroughs. If you wanted to start a trial and have a play, vworkapp.com/trial. That's about everything. I will be on email at support@vworkapp.com. If you have any more questions, hopefully that answers all of your questions about recording that information for work. So thanks a lot, and apologies the demo didn't work first time. Thank you. Bye-bye.